Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katie and I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4. I also run the budget shop PurpleGlimmerBudgets, which is where you're going to find a lot of the products that I use in my videos. You can find my shop on Etsy or also on the website PurpleGlimmerBudgets.com. Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be going over some behind the scenes things that I've been working on my shop. So if this is something that you want to get a peek in, definitely keep watching. Hey guys, it has been forever since I have been on here and chatting with you guys, so I thought I would hop back on here. This video is going to be going through some new products that have come to my shops, products that have had to change in my shop, and just kind of the backstory of that. So I've been gone for so long, life has just been a little bit crazy, so I've had to kind of step away from things and just kind of get my head on straight. So unfortunately, YouTube kind of got pushed to the side. If this is the first video you're watching of mine, you might not know the backstory. Back in February, my husband was let go from his job, and so we've just kind of been struggling. He is our primary source of income, so we've been just trying to figure out how to adapt to life as we know it now, and it's just been a lot of fun. Luckily, he has landed some contract gigs in the months, but we also have been draining our emergency fund very, very quickly because we went from really good income to not very much income at all. So, and also with the loss of his job was also the loss of the employer-sponsored health coverage. So it's just been all kinds of fun. The last video I put up was kind of a walkthrough of our health insurance journey as far as finding health insurance after the loss of the job. So if you find yourself in that situation, that's definitely a good video to kind of go look over. So that's been what's been going on. Also, my kids have been in all kinds of activities. They've been in different summer camps, like swim camps, swim lessons. My oldest was in math camp. He loved that. So I've just been running them back and forth and just haven't had a lot of extra energy to do filming. So again, that's kind of what's been happening. Also just kind of trying to keep up with the shop. So I always have to make sure that I get the orders done and ready. So I've been kind of keeping up with that. I've been loving seeing what you guys have been ordering from me. Again, don't feel that you have to order from me to support me on this channel. Just liking, commenting, or anything with this video, that is all the support I ask from you. So that is great. So this video is going to be a little bit different than normal. It's kind of going to be like a product showcase. So sorry if it comes off very salesy. I'm not trying to say, hey, buy this. I just want to show you what I have done. So I will come back to these lovelies that are back here, just kind of a little tidbit on them. I recently got a 3D printer, so that has been fun. So I've been doing a lot of 3D prints and I hope to be doing some more. So these are just some different things that I've printed with my printer, and I'll go over them in a minute. But first, I wanted to touch on a big thing that happened in my shop. So one of the things that sells the most in my shop is my game challenges. So here I have my A5 game challenge binder. I'm just using it to kind of show. So I have all of my original games that I offer in here in their original versions. Well, it looks like I'm missing dominoes, which kind of sucks because I was anticipating showing that off. Let me grab it because I know I have another A5. One second. Okay, I found the A6 version of it. I knew I had a spare of those. I don't know what happened. I think I put it to the side to take pictures, and then I don't know where that envelope is gone. So this is kind of a look at all of the different games that I've offered. Some of these are not going to be found on my Etsy shop anymore because I got into a little bit of trouble. So I got a copyright trademark infringement strike on this lovely product, my Domino Savings challenge. So Mattel owns the rights to Uno, so they filed a complaint with Etsy against this listing. So Etsy took this listing down. That's fine, I understand. So I proactively went in and found all of my other game challenges that could have the same thing happen, and I took them all preemptively down on Etsy. Now I have all of these original versions still currently up in my website, PurpleGlimmerBudgets.com. So if you want the originals, you can definitely shop there and get them. For now, they're still up there. So anyways, this one is not, well, this one is up there, but I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to keep it out there or not. So, but all of the rest of them are still up there. So anyways, Sorry, I'm all over the place. This was very stressful when it happened, so I'm just kind of reliving the experience going through this. So Savings Land is still up and fine. Bingo is still up and fine. The cool thing about games is that the gameplay itself, that can't be copyrighted or trademarked because it's not something that can be. So some of these are in the public domain, so I don't have any worries about them. Savings Land, since I'm not using Candyland, it's fine. Bingo, that is public domain material, not a problem. Uno, literally if it didn't say this, I would have been fine. But since I said Uno, I got trademarked and I'd have to take that off as well. So I'm trying to think through this on what I can do to make this safe to kind of bring it back. But for now, it just kind of is what it is. Yahtzee, just the word Yahtzee, that's the problem. So you'll see, I'll just go ahead and bring them through. I have switched my Yahtzee on Etsy from Yahtzee to 5 dice cash match. Sorry about that. There might be a weird cut here. I have an Alexa. Well, we have multiple Alexas throughout our house, and my kids were making an announcement on the Alexa, so it was coming through. So I'm going to have to cut that out. So anyways, Yahtzee, that is considered trademark. So I switched the version on Etsy to 5 dice cash match. Other than that, it's pretty similar to what it is. I'll just kind of show you the tracker to show the little bit of changes. I did tweak some things down on the board. So that way it wasn't like an exact match to the board, but this should all be safe. So it's very, very similar to Yahtzee. So if you enjoy my Yahtzee challenge or if you enjoy Yahtzee, this is definitely a fun one to have. So this is the new version of Yahtzee. Roll the dice, that's public domain. There's no issue, no trademark. So this one is fine. Luck of the draw, no issue, no trademark. This is fine. Saveopoly, I think I've taken this down and I don't know that I've done any changes to it. So this is another one that I'm gonna have to think through. So for now it's not on Etsy, but again, currently all of my games are still over on my website. Also, if you want to, you can shoot me a message over on Instagram if you follow me, if you need any of these games, and then we can work through maybe getting it through my website, because I can control what's going on my website. I don't have to answer to Etsy. So that's kind of another good thing about having my website on the back end. Word search, there's nothing trademarked there. Clue, again, the game itself isn't trademarked, but Clue is. And then some of the stuff in here, I'm like, I don't want to walk on the wild side. So I've revamped that and I'm actually really proud of what I did. I did it kind of a play on budget things. So I still have this fun looking glass or spyglass thing icon here. And then I put overdrawn mystery savings challenge. And then I just redid this. I need to tweak these a little bit because I realized that they are a little bit too big. I had a very corrupt file when it came to my scratchers. So I rebuilt the file and then I guess I didn't pay attention properly to the sizing. So I will just, this is going to be really easy for me to fix. I can resize things very easily. So you have your where, who did it, and with what cards. So for where, I put like a bunch of different like places where you would spend money. So the grocery store, a pizzeria, a car dealership, a furniture store, a computer store, a cosmetic store, ice cream parlor, a boutique, and then like a toy shop. So different places where you could like overspend. And then who did it? I did a lot of play on words for like budget things. So penny pincher, savings Sally, investment Ivy, credit card Carl, debt Dave, and frugal Fran. So those are your different suspects. And then with what, these are just various ways that you can kind of like house your budget. So, or spend money. So credit card, debit card, checkbook, and coin rolls, cash, and then through a piggy bank. So I thought that would kind of be fun, like play off on like the weapons and then the who and then the different places. So this is the new version of Clue on Etsy. And again, the original is still up on my website. So we're good there. And then it's still the same gameplay. The how-to is the same. So you scratch off one circle. If the circle reveals no, you save 5. If it reveals yes, you save 20 plus 5 times any remaining circles. So that way you kind of keep saving 150 once you complete this challenge. And then you scratch as many circles per saving session as you want. And when you're done, you will have saved $150. I'm gonna put this to the side because I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. This is a completely new challenge, so it's not even redesigned. Tetris, this is down. I've got to figure out how to rework it. So it might be available on my website. I don't remember if I ever moved this to my website or not. Sorry about that. I had a kid come down and try and talk to me, so I'm gonna have a weird pause here. Tetris is currently down on Etsy. I don't know if it's on my website. I can't remember if I made this when I was first originally building my site or not. My site's been kind of lagging behind my Etsy. That is on my list of to-dos to kind of get them to match each other. But again, if there's anything that you want to buy through my site versus Etsy and it's not there, message me on Instagram, or there's also an email address message through the website, whichever is easiest for you. And then I will go ahead and get whatever listing you want that's not over there migrated over there for you to purchase or get it figured out. Scrabble, this is another one that is currently down on Etsy. I can't remember if it's on my website or not. It's again something that I could run risk of having issues. Basically, Etsy has a 3-strike rule. If you get trademark striked or copyright strike 3 times, basically you're banned from Etsy. So I'm trying to like avoid that. So that's why I've done some of these changes. Rubik's Cube, I had to redesign. So instead of calling it Rubik's Cube, I call it Color Cube. Everything else is the same. I just had to remove any reference to Rubik's, and then I am fine there. So that is nice. Battleship, this is another one that's down. I got to figure out how to rework it so that way it doesn't like run into any issues. Rock, paper, scissors, this is a public domain game, so I am fine there. Shut the Box, again, public domain, no issues there. Connect 4, I had to rename to 4 in a row savings challenge, so not very much difference. Everything else is the same. I just had to remove any reference to Connect 4 and move it to 4 in a row. So very minor changes there. So that's just kind of what happened and why you might see challenges not on my Etsy and stuff like that. Now, while I was doing all this redesign, I had already had in my mind that I wanted to make this game. Growing up, my grandparents, my mom's parents, were really into the game Farkle, and so I remember playing it with them a lot. Farkle is trademarked, the name Farkle, but the gameplay itself is not. So the public domain name of Farkle is Zilch. So that is what this is. So if you've ever played Farkle, it's just basically playing the game of Farkle and turning it into a savings challenge game. So how to play, you will roll a set of 6 dice. So obviously this savings challenge will come with a set of 6 dice. And then you set aside at least 1 scoring dice combination. So down here I have a chart of all the different ways that you can score. And then you choose to bank your points and end your turn, or you can roll the remaining of the dice. If you roll and get no scoring dice, that's a zilch and your turn ends, and you earn 0 points for that turn, which means you would save 0. If you use all 6 dice in scoring, you get a hot dice bonus turn, which basically means you get to go roll the 6 dice again and continue your turn. And then you must score at least $5 in your turn to save and then you play until you save $100, and that's considered a win. So I have various rows here for you to kind of score during your like rolling session that you have. So in order to save like $5, you'd have to get one of these scoring combinations, or you could get like 5 ones, but that wouldn't matter because you'd already be getting more than that. So it just kind of shows you what you have to get. So basically in your rolls, you have to earn at least $5 to be able to save that. Otherwise it's considered like a zilch. So that's this. Also, I put some bonus options on there if you want to like make it a little bit more. So to like get some bonus savings, you can count up the number of rounds left. So each one of these rows is considered a round, and then multiply that times a specific multiplier. Or you can roll all 6 dice and save the number of times save the total dice number times the multiplier. Or you can choose a standard bonus amount to top off your savings. So that way, if the $100 or so is not what your goal is, you need something higher, you have some ways to kind of get there. So this is the new game Zilch. So I'm super excited. Again, this is based off of or inspired by the game Farkle. So let me go ahead and move those out of the way. And so as I mentioned with these, I have a 3D printer. If you remember, I had already had plans to potentially redesign my dominoes and include dominoes. And then this was the domino set that I had purchased, thinking that they would be really nice and cute and cool to include for you to kind of like draw and turn this into more of like a game. Because the original version, which I have the tracker in here of the original version, and this is still the version that's currently for sale. I have to switch it over. I've been doing some things to get it finalized, but I should be switching it over pretty soon, or at least offering both options. I haven't decided which way I want to go. But the original version was basically you would color the dominoes and then save the amount of pips, and so kind of play at your own pace. Well, I turned this one into more of like a game. So again, I did this in thoughts that I was going to use these, and that was before I had actually purchased these. So I was not aware of the major quality issues. I mean, the numbers rub off, or I should say the pips rub off very easily. You can see it coming off in the plastic bag that it came in, and it's just not good quality at all. So I knew that this wasn't an option. So if you remember seeing that video from before, I played around, sorry, there's a fly flying around here. So I played around with putting stickers on there or anything like that. But now that I have a 3D printer, I was like, hey, why don't I just create a set of dominoes and 3D print them? So I like to kind of walk you guys through the process of how I did this. So of course, the first set I tried printing were these. So let me get it up closer so you can see them better. So this is a purple domino, and I think you can see it where the pips are actually white. I don't know if it's coming across on this or not, but these were fine. So it printed fine, and you could also not really see. I mean, you can see a little bit through the back, but they printed out fine. I didn't see any issues, and it wasn't until I started playing with some other colors, because I wanted to offer you guys options, that I saw a major problem evolve. So I tried them in the hot pink and black. So this is the front, so it looks great. Well, then you flip it over the back and you're like, oh, I can still see the pips. So if you ever wanted to like use these as like actual dominoes, I'm like, that's not going to work out very well. And they're also really thin. So I decided that let me just go ahead and print them with double the thickness, and maybe that will take care of that. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with how 3D printing works. Is it basically, it prints out what's called filament, which is basically just molten plastic, and then it prints it like layer by layer. And so when I doubled the thickness, I anticipated that it would like double the back, so that way you wouldn't see through it as bad. But when you put it up to light, you probably can't see it very well here. It looks like you can. So you can kind of still see the pips showing through, especially on this white and black option. And so that's when I found out when I went to print this, I'm like, okay, this is going to be an issue. So for my game, it's fine. But if you ever wanted to like kind of just play them as normal dominoes, you would be running into some issues. And I'm like, I want them to be completely fully functional. So I went back to the drawing board. And so I printed out some like test versions of them. So anyways, I had done some test prints of these different swatches just to kind of see how they are. And now I'm realizing I printed this in the black when my original was in white. So I'm probably going to do yet another test print and see which one I like, and then I'll figure out what I offer. And then I went back to the drawing board and fixed my model. So I knew the white would be the one that would show me the most on if what I did fixed anything. And it looks like it did, because I mean, I'm holding it up to the light. If you like stare super duper close, you can kind of sort of see, but not completely. So I think it did a good job of fixing the issue. So basically what I did is, if you look deep in there, the pips are like buried really deep into the plastic. So the layer of the color for the pips is actually like 3 layers up. So what I did is I actually brought that up to the top, so that way it's only just a few layers down, and so that way there's a lot more thickness here before you get to like the black, the white, or whatever for the pips in the line. So I think that solves that issue. I am being very long-winded here anyways to say that I think I've solved my problem, and so I think I'm going to do is I am going to offer this version going forward. I have to figure out pricing on it with a domino set included. So I am super excited. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with my 3D printer. This is like my most recent thing that I've been working on. Some other things that I've come up with is before I got the 3D printer, I don't know if you guys follow Izzy Budgets over on Instagram. She's awesome and I chat back and forth with her a lot. I love her shop. She's so creative and she's very inspiring. So she came up with this lovely dice tower. So her dice tower has 3 dice stacked up and kind of like cocked a little bit. And then, so it's got the tube where you drop the dice in. Here, I'll show you. And then it catches them there. And so I loved this version, but I wanted to kind of tweak it and make it my own. So I kind of reached out to her and I have like gone back and forth with her. So she's fully aware with this and she didn't have any problem. So I created my own version of that dice tower. So the first version I created was this. I have never modeled anything 3D in my life and I had to learn how to model in 3D. So that was the first thing I actually did before I decided to buy the printer, as I played around with some 3D modeling software to see, can I even 3D model? Because if I can't 3D model, then the printer is going to be not very easy for me to kind of integrate into my shop. But I was actually pretty successful. So this is my first version and it turned out really good. It just has some like minor things wrong with it. You have to get like really close, like there's like extra lipping in here. And it's a really good model. It bummed me out that this whole thing isn't flush. So it's really like ribbed there and I just didn't like that texture. So I didn't like that. So then I went back to the drawing board. Unfortunately, I didn't save this original version when I was tweaking it. So when I tweaked it, I got this. I was also trying to reduce like the height of this so that it was all flush. Well, this was a complete and epic fail because it didn't print very well on the bottom. And then also when I was tweaking the model, I ended up slicing a hole in there. And so this was just a complete and giant mess. And unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to revert from this model back to this model because I didn't save it. And I'm very new in the whole 3D modeling thing. So I went to keep trying on this model. So I've printed it in this pink. Actually, no, it's not this one. Hold on. So I went back to this file and I reprinted it, and you might be able to see some more of the changes or some more of the issues in the pink. It's just kind of like over here on this area, there's extra ribbing there. I also found that this dice was very weakly attached to it. So this one actually broke off. So I have used some Gorilla Glue to adhere this dice back on there. So this is the same model as this and it printed okay. But again, you have like the weird detailing there, which I didn't really like. So I went back to the drawing board because luckily I had been smart enough to kind of save this piece as its own file and then this as its own file, so that way I could kind of recreate this a little bit easier. So then I came up with this, and this one printed fine. It's just, again, I still had this detailing here. I hadn't figured out how to get it really flush, but there was this. So there wasn't much change from this to this, except for this tunneling was like the hardest thing to like kind of figure out and get right. So also whenever I would roll the dice, sometimes the dice would jump. So if you do get this, if you put your hand like this, if you get like a super crazy dice, it'll always hit your hand and fall back. But for the most part, they stay in the tray. So then I went to this version, and this is my final version. This is the version that you'll see pictures of up on my Etsy. So what I did is I dropped this little catch tray down a few millimeters. You can kind of see more on this side where there's kind of a lip here, whereas if you look at the pink version, there's no lip. The dice literally sit on this. So I thought maybe if I dropped it down a little bit, it would cause the dice not to be as crazy. But you can still, the dice sometimes will, if you hit it just right, will still kind of fly off. So again, if you want to ensure that it stays in there, just cup your hand over like this, and then it'll for sure stay in there. But this does help it kind of stay in there a little bit better. But if you get like a super crazy dice like that one, where it just hits just right, it'll fly off. But again, if you cup your hand there, your hand will catch anything. So I still think it's a pretty nice and fun and useful tool. I also changed some things about this. So the indentation of my rock, paper, scissors icons is not as deep. This one isn't as deep as well. Let me go So these ones are a lot deeper, and then there's just some like curling and supports that went in there, and they're not easy to fish out. And I just did not like how they looked. So that's kind of why I also went back and redid this. So I raised the indentation up forward more, so that way it didn't need supports as much. So again, a lot of this might not mean anything to you if you're not familiar with 3D printing. So, but I'm just kind of giving like behind the scenes of my thought process, because I always find that interesting. So this one is actually the one that I have up for sale on my website. It's my oops version, because I mean, for the most part, it's fully functional. It just has a few like minor defects, because this printed out fine. It's just the supports got stuck right up here at the top. And so I filed it down, and then I kind of melted it so that it was more smooth. So it's just, the circle is not perfect. Let me see. So there's just some minor things. So the circle is not completely perfect there. Again, there's the like little supports that are kind of curled in there that just aren't perfect. So I am offering this at a discount on my website. And honestly, I think I'll probably put a lot of these up for sale there as well. So that way, if someone's interested in them, but they don't want to pay full price, they can get them. Again, these are all fully functional. It's just they have some like minor issues. This one, there's really not much wrong with it. I might keep this one and use this one for myself, or I might print myself one. I don't know, but let me know, is that something you would be interested in? Should I go ahead and put these up for sale on my website so that way you can buy them? This one is obviously, there's nothing wrong with it. So this is the version that's for sale on Etsy, and you can get it in any of the colors. I'll go over all the colors that I have. And then this one is fine. It's just, again, has a dice that's mildly hot glued on it, I think. No, this one is fine. It just doesn't have the lip drop. So there's really nothing wrong with this one at all. Except for down here. So I can put this one for sale, and then this is the one that's hot glued. So if I do put both of these up on my website, I will make sure to reference which one is the one with the glued dice versus the other. And again, they'll be at a discounted price. This one, it's so beyond awful that I wouldn't feel comfortable like selling it. So this one I'll probably just scrap, or I just might use it for myself. So there is that. So these are some of the things that were in the works, and I had a lot of fun doing this, but this was fun. 3D modeling is not for the faint of heart, that is for sure. So kind of going over some colors that I have. The other 3D print that I have for sale currently in my shop are these awesome cash trays. So if you guys remember from my videos, I was using this cash tray a lot. It's really fun, but I wanted to kind of try my hand at offering something like this in my shop. So I came up with my own version. It's very similar, but I did go with a little bit slimmer of a profile. And then it's also not quite exactly the same. I think that the distance is a little bit more between each slot, so I might be able to fit just a hair more bills. I don't know, but I was very proud with what I was able to come up with. So I have these listed for sale in my shop. So I have green, I have purple. This was rainbow. I found that the way I have them laid out on the tray, like if I print them one at a time, and the way this rainbow filament is, you don't get a lot of a gradation. So I'll probably sell this as a one-off, as like a maybe sunset, call it. So I found out that in order to get the nice rainbow gradient you'll see later, I had to print 4 on my plate at a time. So that's probably what I'll have to do going forward, is I'll have to print 4 rainbows at a time, which that's not a big deal at all. So I have the green, the purple, bright pink, hot pink. This, I don't think it has much glitter in it, but a lot of these other filaments do. This one kind of has a little bit of pearlescence to it. I would say this is similar too. So these are glitter filaments. So that's kind of how you're getting the pearlescence. This is a blue filament, and it's a little bit more glittery, I would say, than pearlescent, but it's like more of a translucent filament. So that's probably why. So I have this nice, pretty blue. And then this is my black glitter. And I'm just gonna start stacking some of these because I'm running out of room. And then this is dark gray. I was trying to go for like a silver, and it's more of like a gunmetal gray, but you can see that there is quite a bit of shade difference between the black and the dark gray. And then here is the rainbow. So when I printed 4 on the build plate at a time, I got this nice fun rainbow gradient. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And then finally, here is my red. So this is really nice. I love how it looks with my red binder. Let's kind of show off some fun combinations you can have. So I offer this red color in both the A6 and the A7 of this. So this would be a really fun combo to have if you love red. And then I also really love how amazing this green matches the green. So this was a really good combination. Also, I realized I have to go in and fix it, but my listing for the Dice Tower on Etsy doesn't have the green as an option. Green is an option. Any color you see in any of my 3D print models, if you want that color and it's just not listed, message me, and then I can either add it to the listing or tell you how to get it, because most of my 3D prints are going to be like print on demand. So that's a really cool color combination. And then another one I wanted to point out is this hot pink. So I have the hot pink in my A7 and A6 Alana, and then I also have this hot pink in my discbound, and I just think that looks so amazing. So that's a lot of fun. And then like the Dice Tower is really cool. So those are just some fun color combinations of what I have coming to my shop. As if this video is not long enough, I did also want to kind of plug a few more products that are coming. So I have my very popular Save 2025 and 2025 challenge. I realized that 2025 is fast coming to an end. And so since it is more than halfway over now, I'm like, this is the perfect time to get a jump on Save 2026 and 2026. So I went ahead and redesigned the cover. So I will be launching on that listing very soon the option to have the 2025 or the 2026. And so basically the way it changes in the inside is that instead of having a 16 to save, you'll have one, or instead of having a 15 spot to save, you'll have one 16. So I'm basically swapping one of the 15s and putting in a 16. If you have my Save 2025 and 2025 and you would like to get the new covers and the 16 insert, message me on Etsy, and that's a listing that's on the back of my mind to get added, and I can definitely put up a listing for that. I would just have to come up with what I want to charge for the cover and then the one insert. It shouldn't be too terribly much, but if that's something you're interested, that is definitely an option. So that way you don't have to go and buy the whole entire set again. So the other thing is I've come up with some more of my like big savings challenges. So where you kind of choose how much you want to save. I want to say in this size, you can choose anywhere from like 500 to 5,000 or 10,000. If you do the 10,000, then each slot is 200. If you do the 5,000, then each slot is 100. Basically, take your total savings amount and divide it over 50, and then that's what each slot saves for. I'm also thinking of allowing these patterns and some of the other patterns to be like customized to include like the 26-week challenge, the 52-week challenge, or even the 50-week challenge. So if that's something that you're interested in any of these patterns and it's not listed, shoot me a message on Etsy and I can go ahead and get that taken care of and tell you how to place that order. Basically, like any of my listings of this, I can easily convert into any type of challenge that you want. It doesn't take a lot of time and I'm happy to do that. But these two patterns I'm really excited about. So I've seen bees and honey are very, very popular. So I decided to make my own version of the challenge. So this has a nice fun honeycomb with bee background. And then I put a like nice big bee on the front. And so the one that I'm showing is the $5,000 challenge. So again, it has the front and back cover. It includes the binder, and then it has 50 inserts, each showing 100. And then I love purple. I love the fall, so this was a perfect theme for me to kind of bring to my shop. So this again is the $5,000 challenge version. So it includes the cover, the back cover, the binder, and then 50 of these little inserts. So I thought this was so fun. These will also be offered in your normal glossy lamination or the sparkle lamination. I love the sparkle lamination, so pretty much anywhere that it can be used, I'm happy to put that in there. So again, sorry for this super long-winded video. If you stay to the end, definitely drop me some type of purple emoji to let me know that you stuck with me to the end, because I know I can be long-winded and I apologize for that. I try to be as concise and to the point, but I like to be really chatty. Sorry if this came off as a video to like sell to you. That wasn't my intention. I'm just really excited about these things that I've been doing. I wanted to kind of give you guys a sneak peek into what I have been doing and why I've been gone for so long and everything like that. Again, life has been crazy over the last few months. My kids have been out of school, in and out of summer camps and everything like that. We went on vacation a few times, so things have been crazy. Not having a stable income has also been fun. So that is that. So it might be a little while before you guys see me back to my normal rotation of doing cash stuffing, because I've had to step away from the cash budgeting because things are extremely tight over here. We went from a very comfortable income to we don't really have hardly much coming in. Luckily, my husband is on another contract job right now, so we have money coming in. Unfortunately, we had a vacation scheduled last week, and so when you do a contract job, you don't get paid unless you're actually working. So that was an entire week of no pay, but it was nice to kind of get away. So he's back to the job now. We're not sure for how much longer, so I'm really hoping that a permanent role gets landed here very soon for our financial well-being and my sanity. So again, thank you so much. If you stuck to the end of this video, drop me that purple emoji down below, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.